And in it, he has a quote where he says, you could go to a restaurant and you could see a couple that have clearly been together a long time, and they have nothing to say to each other. They're sitting at the table in silence, kind of picking at their food and kind of avoiding each other's gaze. And he says, no. It's not that they have nothing to say to each other. It's that they have so much to say to each other, but there are no inner trampolines inside each person to catch themselves in the event of sharing. Okay? Maybe you've been in a relationship like that. Maybe you saw your parents in that. All right? And so I welcome the healing. We're going to look at how that happens. Now, this next image, I didn't have any paintings in my presentation, but after James and after Justin Heath, I just got so called to the beautiful spirit of art that is so part of this week. I felt inspired to bring in art as well. So I did this painting in 2007. And this painting, so after I divorced, I entered into a relationship that was a real soulmate kind of relationship. And we'd been together about 4 months when this painting was done. And when I did this painting, we had been away for 10 days and had a sort of, we didn't marry, but it was a sort of honeymoon, but in a real spiritual sense of a honeymoon. We spent a lot of time together. We had very deep talks. We revealed such deep aspects of ourselves and our hopes and our dreams and our pasts and who we really are. And it was an infusion of light. And I paint, and I did the art therapy here at the conference. And that's been a big part of my spiritual path as well, art and painting always with the left hand, even though I'm right-handed, to access the right side of the brain. So this I painted with my left hand, as all my paintings are. And when I painted this, I just had to, as soon as I got in from this holiday, I just had to get to my studio and paint. This energy is just coming through me. And when I painted it, I realized that I had painted transparency in its excellence, in its sweetest. That place where we saw each other completely, we let each other in completely. And as I painted it, I realized two things. One, I didn't know who was who. That sometimes I was one bird and sometimes I was the other bird. And he was one or the other. And the other thing is that when I was done, I stood back and when I saw that it was one bird. If you can see that, it's like as if there are two eyes and a central beak. So I've probably done about 500 paintings in all my years of painting. But I probably have a hand, I could count on two hands, those paintings that are just of another nature, and I feel that this one definitely is. So I felt inspired to share this just to give you that visual of what it really looks like. I'm not a bird, but it's what that feels like and looks like and the celebration of that. Okay. So I'm working with people's shadows on a very regular basis, working with my own so I stay current and credible to the work that I do. She has truly become one of my very dearest friends. And so I know you all know who Kali is. And for anyone in the audience or anyone of our live streamers who doesn't, she's the goddess of ego death. She splashes with her sword and her scythe, and she wears a ring of skulls, proudly displaying how many egos she has been able to slaughter away. And she is the patron saint of transparency, of radical honesty, because she goes wherever transparency goes. And the question becomes, am I willing to surrender? Am I willing to risk all? And there are two aspects of risking. Let's look at the love aspect. What if I share, like I did in that last painting, and I'm in such love, and such connection, and such bliss, and such hope and promise, and such a knowing, this is the real deal, this is it. And then I recoil like, oh my God, I want to attach. But you're going to die, or I'm going to die. And this will not last forever. Impermanence will come our way. And I don't want that. I want this to last forever. Dare I open, and dare I risk everything and have it gone in one fell swoop? Dare I do that? The only way that I'm going to be strong enough to be able to enter into the ability to attract that high vibration of a relationship is if my spiritual practices are very much in place. I need to know that my inner beloved is number one. That I have a relationship to spirit and to all the dimensions of myself that overrules the dependency or the power that I give my intimate relationship. Or I will not be able to do this. I will not be able to do this. Secondly, of course, the classic thing that we think about when we think about bearing all or telling or confessing something is, will I be rejected? Will I be abandoned? Are you going to run the other way? Are you going to be angry with me? And that's a form of rejection at that moment. All right? And so with transparency and ego death, so these are basics. The ego death is assured. It will come. The more edgy it is, there will be something where we'll have to realign. We must have that, have that trampoline in place. There must be somebody home to catch you to receive it. Okay, I decided to share this painting as well. So that special relationship I shared with you all. So 2 years into it, I had a moment with him that was another one of those so now we're 2 years, we've been through a lot. And a very active relationship. And we had one of those moments where it just couldn't get any better. It's like those moments like, could this be any better? That moment where the hearts are open, where you're just crying, just ecstasy of love and joy and connection, and that deep wink, that knowing, like, this is really good, this is beautiful, I see you, you see me, we're not grasping, we just love. And I was so imbued with that. Again, I had to get into the painting studio. So I go into the painting studio, and as you see with this painting, there are layers. So the first layer, you see the pinks and the blues, the turquoises, and then there was this huge green heart you can see underneath. And I did that, I just flow of that, really feeling, usually I do pink hearts, but I really understood why green often is the color associated with the heart chakra, because I was so in that essence, that fertility of life force just bursting through my heart. And then all of a sudden, fear just rushed in. I was in such ecstasy of that love. Fear rushed in. This could all go in a flash. Something he could disappear, I could disappear, something he could be taken from me. Oh my goodness. And I just really went into it. And if you see, it's not so legible. At the left, there's the word surrender. There's, on the left, there's the word dare. There's the word die, love. And it really was that quality of just die, just die. Die before you die, as Siddhartha says. Just die before you die. Let go, be ready. Just die, just let go. And just let yourself be blown open by the love, even if you die. The irony, so you can see us in the middle there, that came through at the very end. The irony is almost a year to the day that I painted that, just about a couple weeks after that, he died. He died in a motorcycle accident. And it's emotional to say. And that was, I was ripped open, and for 5 years total, it's still that tenderness, and I think part of the crying is really more that place of being so broken open, that nostalgia, all the mystics talk about that nostalgia of where you're so taken, where you're so defenseless that the light can come in, that there's no more resistance, you can't resist anymore. And I know a couple of you have spoken to me about death in your life, whether from a loved one, whether from a family member, and how much of a spiritual initiation that is. In relationship, that is always the risk. When I love that much and I surrender that much, will that person just be taken from me in a split second? Dare I love that much, because the hurt is going to be so painful. But as we learned, and as Dr. Lakshmi, I believe, was the one that said it, that there's pain and there's suffering. And it's using that suffering to really temper ourselves and use it as a sort of a practice to surrender, let go, to greater and greater levels of surrender. So that what remains is just humility and love and connection. So I just really wanted to show that this one risk that definitely comes with transparency and having this level of a love relationship. Thank you, everyone.